There's been problems at some airports. It's isolated. It's not every day of the week. It's not every week of the summer. You have to expect as the recovery took, gathered pace, it actually was moving much faster than people had expected. I'm going to actually express some sympathy for airports, which is the one and only time you will ever hear me say this. But I think it has caught them by surprise. These issues will be addressed.
Hang on. You've had Amsterdam asking KLM to reduce flights. Yeah. Gatwick is now asking people to reduce flights. Heathrow. I mean,
There's 3 airports. Come on. There's thousands of airports around the world. So we pick on 3 airports, who I love picking on, by the way. And you can add Dublin into the mix, who've had problems. But I've gone through all of these airports. I've flown through Gatwick, I've flown through Amsterdam, Heathrow, Dublin. Yes, it is busier. But it's not like it's portrayed that it's chaos there every day of the week. There are problems. The problems will be addressed.
Are the problems with the airlines who furloughed and laid off and now can't get back? Or the airports who did similar, or are both guilty?
No, I think, to be fair, there are airlines with problems as well. But I have a lot of sympathy for airlines who furloughed and laid off people, particularly in the UK. Because if you look at it, in September of last year, when the UK government ended their support for the airlines, if you look at who was being supported, 38% of airlines were still availing of or 38% of airline employees were still availing of the support scheme, and it was cut off overnight. The UK was actually very slow to recover in the 4th quarter of last year and the 1st quarter of this year. It's only in the 2nd quarter that things have really started picking up.
There are hard economic times coming. Interest rates 5 times in the UK. We've got the ECB starting. US is really ratcheting up. So there will be a slowdown, massively. Whether recession or not doesn't really matter. Do you see that affecting the outlook?
Well, the outlook this year we've improved, and that's principally because the recovery is stronger than we had expected. Looking into next year, yes, there are headwinds. We're not going from a business-as-usual environment to a recession. We're in a recovery, which likely will go into a downturn. But we're still going to grow through that because we've not recovered all of the lost business that we had. And if we look at premium travel, now I differentiate between premium and business. So premium, people traveling in the premium cabins, that's actually growing at a faster pace than economy travel. Now, and that's in an environment where we know a lot of business travelers have not yet returned.
What's the #1 issue for IATA?
I would say the #1 challenge that airlines will face will be the price of oil. We have seen that significantly spike this year. We estimate that the price of a barrel of jet is at $125 a barrel. That's as high as we've seen it for a long, long time. Now, good news, airlines are somewhat cushioned from that because they do have some hedging in place, which clearly will soften the blow in 2022 and to some degree in 2023. But ultimately, that price is going to impact on airlines, and it is going to impact on consumers.
Right. So the one thing we know about the price of oil, there's only 2 things you can do about it. You can either eat the cost on your margin, or you pass it on with a surcharge.
And to be honest, you can't eat it now because airlines don't have the financial strength to be able to do that. They're recovering from massive losses. So airlines will have no choice but to reflect the higher oil price in ticket prices. The fuel is the single biggest element of an airline's cost base. If you look at the 10-year period between 2010 and 2019, the best 10 years in the history, it was 27% of the costs. At an average Brent price at 80. Brent is over $100 a barrel now. So it's inevitable.
And to a consumer who says, you're going to take it out my wallet, you're going to raise prices.
No. There's still going to be great competition. There's plenty of choice out there. But yes, it is inevitable that prices, which will be dictated by supply and demand, but also by the input costs. And airlines cannot avoid, no different to anybody else. Energy prices go up. It's going to have to be reflected in costs.